I'm Jesus, and in this video, I'm going to be asking the question, are my case unboxings too lucky? I have had some very crazy luck over the years opening cases, which naturally I've drawn attention to in videos because that's kind of the point of the video. But inevitably, that has resulted in quite a few commenters over the years suggesting that Valve may have done something to my account to make that crazy luck just a little bit more common. And when you think about it, they could easily do that and I wouldn't even know. So in this video, I'm going to get a full list of every case I've ever opened, figure out exactly how many golds I've gotten, and then try and figure out if my case unboxings are too lucky, as well as seeing if there's anything else interesting we find in the process. Let's get into things. Now, this isn't the first time I've tried to figure this out. At the start of the year, I tried using an extension called CS2 Case Opening Stats to do it, and I immediately broke it. Then I tried using Cantry's tool and I broke that too. Cantry showed me how to fix it, but at this point I kind of lost interest. You see, the problem with my account is just that I've opened a fuck ton of cases, and between that and trading, I've had something like 500,000 skins come through my account. But this time, I'm determined to succeed. So first of all, I went to try the extension. It worked for a bit and then it broke. Luckily, I was able to fix this. Basically, every 10k case or so, I had to go in and manually restart it, but either way, the numbers quickly started to grow, from 30k to 60k to 70k, and eventually, I managed to get it all the way to 94,691 cases dating all the way back to mid-2020. Now, 94,691 cases may sound like a fuckload, but the first question I had was, did this tool manage to get everything? Now, to test this, I decided to grab Cantry's tool again to see if I could get the numbers to match, but after loading it up, it immediately crashed and didn't work. Cantry explained this is pretty much a Valve issue, so I gave it one more go, which was a bit more successful, but still ended up with the same error. So I guess it was back to the extension, and checking it, I noticed an immediate problem. You see, down here there's a list of unboxed golds, and this was clearly missing stuff. For example, these golds here are from an infamous unboxing I did back in 2020, but there was stuff missing. For example, I got 2 Stiletto Tiger Tooths during this unboxing, but looking at this list, they clearly aren't there. So, was the extension missing something? No. It turns out I was. Now, we'll get to what that is, but firstly, let's just break down these numbers. You'll notice I've opened 94,691 cases, which is $278,391.54 of keys. The second thing you'll notice is that I am one lucky motherfucker, because rather than getting the statistically expected 0.26% of golds, I've gotten 0.3%. Or have I? You see, there's only one decimal point here, so is this just rounding? Well, not entirely, because using the actual numbers, my gold odds are about 0.275%, or about 8% better than you would expect. Epic dubs. But this does highlight a bit of a problem, because one decimal point doesn't really cut it here. Also, the numbers only add up to 99.5%, so something is clearly not right. So I moved it all over to a spreadsheet only to find I still had the exact same problem. Something about the totals wasn't adding up. It turns out I'm missing about 400 cases, which is not that concerning given how many cases I had. So I recalculated the numbers to fix it and found something really interesting. When you compare my numbers to the official numbers released by Valve in China, they are pretty much spot on, aside from my gold luck. And that is an interesting stat. Are Valve tampering with my luck? Well, first of all, we actually need to get the data. Those missing golds I mentioned earlier, well, the reason they're missing is that I opened them on other accounts, and I also needed to load the data from those accounts as well. Now, my first account, my beloved Hookers and Blow, brought the total to 119,000 cases. Jesus Alt 1 brought it up to 126,000 cases, Jesus Alt 2 brought it up to 137,000 cases, Jesus Alt 3 brought it to 146,000 cases, and then after I'd loaded up the other 3, plus finding some extra missing skins on Hookers and Blow, I'd gotten the total to 153,745. Now, the missing goals all seem to be here, or at least the vast majority of them. You can see the missing Stiletto Tiger Tooths here, for example, and there's a lot of other memorable goals here too. These ones here, for example, are from a case opening battle where I destroyed Anomaly and Honor Pixel. This one here is one of my earliest super lucky pulls. This gold here I got 3 cases into a Chroma 2 case unboxing video, and you can see the back-to-back Karambit Fades I got recently down here. Now, I put all the data into a spreadsheet like this. As you can see, total number of goals is 414. My luckiest account is Jesus Alt 2 with a gold unboxing rate of 0.335%. My unluckiest account is Jesus Alt New with an unboxing rate of 0.172%. So much for new account luck. What is clear though is that overall, I am too lucky. In fact, I've unboxed about 6% too many goals. The rest of the numbers pretty much add up to what the odds should be, but my gold luck is too high. So, are Valve tampering with my gold luck? Well, first of all, let's just have a closer look at the rest of the data. For example, my most pulled items are all from the Chroma 2 case. Now, that's probably not really a surprise, it is my favorite case, but this got me thinking, is there a way to get more information? Well, the tool actually invites me to go to a website called Loot Spectrum, and Loot Spectrum has this button that offers me the chance to analyze my pulls. I synced up all my cases on the website, which took quite a while. I've got a lot of cases. Now, after about 15 minutes, it did load and it revealed some very interesting information. First of all, 2024 was peak case unboxings for TD and Jesus. This year is down. We're down from the peak, down quite a lot. As expected, my most open case is also the Chroma 2 case with 13,255. Gamma case is number 2, Chroma 3 case is number 3, Prisoner case next up after that. I've also opened a lot of Dreams and Nightmares cases, which I didn't really expect. Wait, no, actually, it looks like this is broken down per account. So let's see if I can get the actual numbers. Okay, so I've got the actual values here. I'm not quite sure why the totals broke, but it turns out I've opened 13,975 Chroma 2 cases, 12,414 Chroma 3s, 10,195 Dreams and Nightmares, 13,033 Gammas, 11,095 Prismas, and out of interest, also 407 CSGO weapon cases. And finally, we can also see why the numbers didn't fully add up at first. It's because there's some consumer grade and industrial grade skins in there from the Anubis package. Now, Loot Spectrum also tempted me with further data for the exorbitant sum of €2.30. I don't know, it's quite a bit, can I afford it? Well, this is for science. So I coughed up the funds, you got me this time, motherfucker. I don't think this is meant, okay, there we go, okay. It is in euros, but that's a lot of money. Right, so I had to turn on key costs and latest market values, and the results are horrifying. So, according to this, I spent 1,120,000 euros on cases and gotten back 449,000 euros, 450,000 euros actually. Now, that seems horrifying. I know it seems horrifying, but it's not anywhere near as bad as it looks, and this is the reason why. During the time period I've been opening cases, the price of cases has gone up a massive amount, usually inflating the value over here. And while it's hard to know what the exact amount of loss is, once you factor in like the price inflation of cases, be over 100,000 euros that I've lost, but nowhere near 600,000 that it's showing here. Anyway, this brings us to the real question, which is, are my case unboxings too lucky? I've definitely gotten too many goals, but is it at the point where it's suspicious? Well, we can figure this out by using something called binomial distribution. And basically, this is going to tell us the percentage chance of me getting this many goals or more from the number of cases I've opened. If that number is less than 5%, we start getting suspicious. So I calculated the number for all of my accounts, and it turns out I have a 31% chance of getting this many golds. That is definitely above average luck, but I would not call that suspicious. If we focus on my main account, which you know is the one Valve are more likely to tinker with, my odds were 23%. Again, I've done a lot better than you would expect, but that's not really suspicious either. In fact, even if we go to alt number 2, my odds were still 6.7%. That's some really good luck, but is it really that suspicious? I mean, I've got all these other accounts where I've done worse. Doesn't it make sense at least one of my accounts has done better? In fact, this is what it looks like for all my accounts individually. Have I gotten lucky? Yes. Is it suspiciously lucky? No, not really. Now, I will say, given I make case opening videos for a job, I'm still very grateful to have beaten the odds, even if it's only by a little bit. It's just not at the point yet where it's weird. And as far as I could tell doing these tests, I need to keep this up for another 400,000 cases before it is. And in any case, it's worth remembering that no matter how much extra luck I've had, I've still lost a 6-figure sum doing these case unboxings. Don't open cases. Not that any of you are listening. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. If you've enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe, massively appreciated. Otherwise, trust the numbers, not your guts. I'm Jesus. Thanks for watching. See ya.